Alamin ang mga palatandaan ng mga modern day vampires. O baka naman, ikaw ay isa sa kanila. Pero hindi mo lamang alam.
So there was a friend of mine who called me up and we talked for almost more than an hour. She's a little bit dismayed, disappointed, and angry about her best friends. Why? Because her best friends tag her as nega. Nega is a short for negative. This means her friends see her as a negative person. She asked me if I see her as a negative person as well. Alright, I listened to her story. She told me a lot of things. So I summarized everything that we have discussed about, and here is her piece of story. They are 5 girls, classmates since high school, and became best friends. They shared many things in life for over 25 years. Yes, and even boyfriends. But those were the days when they were still single. Fine, they are now married to their husbands with children as well, and they share opportunities of creating money in order for them to help their husbands. So, being best friends, if one of them would join a networking business, then you know what's next. Everyone must join. And these are the cases where she oftentimes said no to them. And since then, her friends tag her as nega. And this is how she thought it all started. And now she couldn't stand it anymore. So my piece of advice to her would be coming up next. This is also the same thing I'm going to share with you. So if you are new to my channel, please do subscribe and hit that notification bell. Choose bell also that you will get updated with my upcoming videos. So she feels being insulted because they call her face to face as nega, even they throw this as a joke. So there are many things that we discussed, and some are too personal, and this is just the part I would like to share with you. This will also help you identify if you are a negative person or not. We can't just tag or think or judge a person that easy by calling names like nega. When many people judge you as a nega person when you don't join them, whatever it is, business, gathering, session, whatever. When you say always no, or you say no more than saying yes, immediately people would say you are a nega. You are not an open-minded person. I find this somehow manipulative, for maybe because they want to win your yes. But let me just share you some tips on how to truly identify a negative person. Number 1, they twist a good news to something that sounds bad. For example, you bought a house and you are excited to tell her about it. This is how a negative person would react to that. Be careful, my dear, because that house might bring bad luck. Sometimes a house can give you misfortune. You need to check the environment, the people around there. Be careful if the previous owner has done something strange in the house. That's why he sold it to you. Negative people would scare you, caution you to be careful, warn you of dangers, and would make you feel uncomfortable living there. Do you have a friend who act like that? A negative person would act like this to any good news or even good opportunities. So they're always good at looking at the negative result out of the good news that you have. Number 2, nega are warriors, not warriors. Negative people live on worries. They make living on worries as a vice, like smoking, gambling, drinking. They can't live without worrying. They worry for almost anything, even to things that they don't need to worry about. Say, for example, their neighbor's life. They worry about their neighbor's house, their neighbor's character, their neighbor's post on social media. When negative people have a very little problem, the whole world would know, as if they carry the weight of the whole world on their shoulders. And oftentimes they overreact to little problems. Number 3, they are overprotective of themselves from strangers or new acquaintance. When you approach a negative person or negative people, they protect themselves from speaking too much or giving out information, and even general information, and would most of time would feel irritated when asked. This is because they think that whatever they say or information they give might be used against them. For example, at the party, an acquaintance asked a nega person, "Oh, dude, this is a nice place. I like it so much. Any idea who owns this place?" Well, a nega person, even if he knows who owns it, would immediately say, "Sorry, dude, I know, but I won't tell." So imagine, a nega person would not always open to giving out information. So this is one way of detecting that the person is a nega or a negative person. Number 4, nega are pessimists. This is how they react, okay? For example, we cannot go home. There are no taxis coming. Okay, say they don't think that you can call a friend with a car or you can take a hitch from others. So they always see the negative side of it. Say you are sailing and there's no wind. So most of the negative people would say the boat won't sail because there is no wind. Not thinking about you can use your paddle to move. A negative person would see almost everything as not right. They see everything will go wrong. They worry about happiness because surely there will sadness coming. So you should not be too happy because the ending would be a sad one. Number 5, they have a very thin skin. We call this also as onion skin. Negative people are likely oversensitive to criticism, and they even take compliments the wrong way. They oftentimes interpret innocent remarks as being rude. For example, you threw a joke about short people. Everyone laughed about it. Well, a negative person will find it offensive, especially if he is a short person too. He would think that the joke is about him. Number 6, they complain a lot. Negative people tend to whine a lot, murmur a lot, grumble a lot, thinking that the whole world is against them. They usually think that they are the victim of lousy weather, victim of a difficult boss, a victim of bad luck, and victim of upbringing by their parents. They blame others for their misfortune rather than seeing other factors like lack of knowledge, lack of energy, lack of creativity, or simply lack of hard work, or even lack of opportunity. Negative people love the word but. Okay, a negative person might say something positive or even compliment you on your great achievement, but they would finish it with the word but. For example, say you put up a restaurant, a negative person will give a remarks like this: "Your restaurant looks great, but I wonder why you didn't put a table outside." Or say you just put up a beach, Another person may comment like this. Well, it's a lovely beach, but there are always too many people around. So they always end up the any compliment with a word, but they have always something to say, but negative. Number 8, they don't want to move outside of their comfort zone. They would rather stay in their comfort zone because they cannot face the possibility of getting fear or more fear, discomfort, challenges, or failure. So they end up not experiencing new challenges or new venture. They are afraid of experimenting or doing something different. They would rather do things that they used to do because they are afraid of getting failure or being rejected. Number 9. Negative people usually have less confidence. And negative people usually think they are not good enough or smart enough, athletic enough, or fit enough. They always think of themselves as lesser. They don't see that they are limitless, that they can do a lot better than what they are doing. So failure oftentimes is the reward they get from underestimating themselves. Their emotional intelligence is crippled by their unreasonable critical thinking. They would even tell you stories about people around them as too difficult to handle, so they never collaborate and often give excuses that it would be impossible to get anywhere or achieve anything with the people they don't find comfortable working with. Number 10, they love hearing or watching bad news. So negative people usually, they just want to hear bad news. So every bad news that they hear from television, the internet, or even in any media, they will tell it to everyone. They easily keep bad news and spread it rather than spreading good news. So if there is someone around you who are always spreading bad news most of the time, he could be a negative person. Why? Because every bad news it tells you may affect you and make you feel bad about it. They would make you feel affected by the bad news. Well, that is my top 10 reasons or top 10 tips in order for you to identify whether a person is a negative or not. So you can also check yourself if you have all these signs of negative person. And maybe without knowing it, you are also a negative person. Well, there is a scientific explanation to that. And according to research, it has to do with the part of the brain called the amygdala, which functions as an alarm and is constantly on the lookout for danger, fear, and bad news. Scientists believe this to be the brain's default position. This is understandable because the brain uses most of its neurons to keep up with all the bad news that is stored in our memory. Negative persons or people are energy vampires because they change the positive energy of other people by getting them influenced. And they hardly know the word joy because they always find unsatisfying jobs, unhealthy relationships, ugly environment, and everything is just completely negative. What to do if there are negative people around you? Well, the easiest and simplest way is to walk away. But if walking away is not possible, then do not listen to their negative stories. Watch happy, motivational, and inspiring videos. Make yourself busy with achieving something good. Avoid them or educate them to be positive. Who knows? You may change them from negative to positive. Your
Tulad ng mga
positivity may
bampira
not
sa mga
influence
pelikula,
them to become positive.
ang mga modern day
Because
vampires natin
most of the
ngayon
times,
ay nakamamatay din. Bagamat hindi sila blood suckers, ay mga energy suckers naman sila na kung saan makakaramdam ka ng pangihina, nagiging mainitin ang ulo mo, nag-iisip ka ng masama sa iyong kapwa, lagi kang nangangamba, lagi kang natatakot, nawawala na ang saya sa iyong sarili at nasisira ang iyong pangarap tuwing nakakasama mo sila. Hindi lamang nila sinisira ang iyong mood, sinisira din nila ang iyong pangarap at ang iyong buhay. Kaya mga kaibigan, piliin ang iyong nakakasama araw-araw. Umiwas sa mga bampira bago ka maging katulad nila. Hanggang sa muli mga kaibigan.